As the U.S. national debt skyrockets to $34.2 trillion, I think it's time that most of us start to change the way we think about certain things, and that's largely up to us to help them get there. And it starts with us, but then we must spread the message. That's part of what I do, but you can do it even in your own communities. You can actually talk to people about why prices are high for certain goods and services. And you can even point them to this website, usdebtclock.org. In a continuing series that I've been doing here, it's time for us to upgrade our thinking. Let's explore. When we see these numbers, the debt per citizen, and especially the debt per taxpayer, you look at those two different numbers as the citizens don't always have skin in the game. But for those of us who pay taxes, well, we have skin in the game. We're the ones that are damaged the most by what government does. They use our money, and a lot of it, for things that we don't believe in morally. And the other thing is that there's a lot of people that do not pay any taxes at all. And they have no skin in the game, but yet they are paying a hidden tax with inflation. But nonetheless, still, we get that too, those of us who pay taxes. So let's think about these numbers. What causes them? Well, the one thing that does cause them is government spending. And the government, under the coffers of the House of Representatives, and then being passed into law from the Senate and then into the presidency, then we start to spend this money, and we've got to get it from somewhere. There's not enough taxes out there in order to have all the money that they want to spend. So therefore, the Federal Reserve just prints more of it. The Federal Reserve is essentially beholden to the politicians. Even though it's a private enterprise, they are part of the problem. They have just enough autonomy that they can do things without any legislative action, and they can, and they do. They manipulate up and down and sideways. But the principles of sound money and fiscal responsibility that starts with us is the way that we can upgrade our thinking. But we're going to get to that in a moment. But let's take a look and see exactly what I'm talking about. Total personal debt. Look at that number. $25 trillion. It's crazy. And look at the interest paid at the banks and the interest paid per adult on the total interest paid, broken down by adult. And the average savings per family is only $11,069. That's crazy. And look at credit card debt. Over $1.3 trillion. Per card holder, that's $8,173. There's a lot of debt out there for sure. Now let's open up the secret message. It's a rather simple one, intriguing nonetheless, and it really stands out and bold. Yes, indeed, there it is. We're going to take a look at this thing at a whole to see what it looks like here. Upgrade your thinking. And then we're going to zoom into it again here as we look at it from this vantage point. Look at that. It's crazy. So we've got this thing here in the background is the vastness of space. You want to talk about opening your mind? Well, it doesn't get much more open than that. And of course, there's a fabric. And I don't know if this necessarily means dark matter or what have you, the fabric of space that's behind it. It's almost like a grid with on either side of the symbols that we see 3 blue lines that come in the middle there. And presumably, to me, that means that there is sound coming in, that's coming in, and you're listening. To me, that's what that represents. Those blue lines represent sound waves in my mind. And that's what we're looking at. We need to listen as well. Because when we upgrade our thinking, we must absorb information and be critical of all the information we receive from across the sphere of influence. From social media influencers, to articles you read, to the news you watch, to talking to friends and family. and question everything with boldness, even the very existence of God. But we know God is real, but nonetheless, he is not above being questioned because he wants to make himself real to us all. And that's the idea of what we're seeing here on this side. But first, we're going to zoom in, shall we, and take a closer look to see what upgrade your thinking means. You can see here in the background of where the upgrade is essentially this seal, this kind of this stamp of approval, or what have you, the upgrade stamp. You know, it's a seal of approval. It is emboldened and blazoned there with the eagle in flight. As you can see there, the eagle's in flight, meaning that is when you upgrade your thinking, you are free. You are free when you open up your mind, when you see things from a different point of view, and we look at the principles from which this nation was founded and the principles that are found in the Bible. So you look at that with the eagle, the truth will set you free, and you will be free indeed. And then we can see there on the bottom right of this, we have the other little seal there, the USA Department of the Treasury. That's right. Now, this is the United States, and this will be the new foundation of which silver will play a role there. There's no gold coin that I see in this, which is kind of intriguing and interesting. And there's no U.S. Treasury note either that we see in this, just the silver coin. And that's an interesting little departure from what we've seen in the past. I'm not sure exactly what to make of that. And then in the middle, we have the words, your thinking. The message is to upgrade your thinking here. And you notice that these letters have, the colors in them. The kind of, I think that's just more stylistic, but they are glowing. And thinking is glowing there, whereas the other words are not. Because when you think, and you think clearly, it does emit from your very being. And then we look to the right, we see the vastness, we see the galaxies there. And when we zoom in close to this, we get a better understanding, or maybe even some questions about what these mean in the secret message. We can see four angelic figures, as we've seen in the past, around a highlighted twinkled star in the middle there, with the ichthus fish symbol, which means that Jesus is at the center. If you have Jesus as a foundation, really you can't go wrong. And that is on top of presumably the Milky Way galaxy, or some galaxy, and then to the left of that is what appears to be either another galaxy, or and maybe it looks like it's Earth there in the center of it. I'm not sure. It's at an angle, and there appears to be some sort of dial or something in the middle of that. Or maybe that's an eyeball. I'm not really sure what to make of it. It's kind of not very clear here as to what that means. I'm kind of looking for that constellation, which we've not seen in a while, where Jupiter was a part of it. But I'm not seeing any of that kind of messaging in this particular secret message. So I don't really know what that means there, but it is intriguing. And nonetheless, this is a bold yet assumingly simple message that we're getting from the debt clock people. Quite interesting, quite wild indeed. So there it is. So that's what we've got there, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Upgrade your thinking. Let's zoom out again, and I don't think I've missed anything there. It's rather simple, but the only other thing I can think of to talk about here is this message is a really clear shape. It is a very elongated oval shape, which is interesting, which means that it spans, I think, through the whole countenance of your being, and maybe your visual field as well as your auditory field, looking straight forward. If you look straight forward, you can imagine that wrapping around your head, and maybe that is the feeling that is your field of vision and your auditory field there. So let me know what your thoughts are. Now, again, as a reminder, I do these videos every time the debt clock people post a new message, a secret message, and I have a whole playlist of these, and this will add to that. And so I encourage you to check out some of the older videos if you've not seen those, or maybe going through the playlist and just let them play, as you're exercising or doing whatever. I think you'll find them quite interesting. There's a lot of different ones, a lot of variety. There's some reoccurring themes that we talk about in there as well. So I hope you will check out at least one or two of those others after watching this video. Otherwise, I will be doing these as they come, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this one. If there's anything I missed or how you interpret them, either the same or different, let me know in the comments section down below. I want to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.